Good evening. Welcome once again to the Ned Cook Show. As you know, Ned has not missed a performance in the last 167 weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, Ned Cook.
Hold on, sorry. It's just, I think there's been some mistake here. I'm the one who hasn't missed a performance in the last 167 weeks, actually. You know, with the randomizer.
He's just bluffing. It's not possible.
Well, I wouldn't have thought it possible either, but here we are, and that's what we're doing. If that's okay with you, of course.
It looks as if it's going to be all right, folks.
Oh, well, thank you for being so understanding.
First of all, we'll explain how this tremendous task is going to be performed.
I think after 167 weeks, they've kind of got the idea by now, Ned. How's about you just press the old button there?
Wait for it. She's moving. Yes, she's moving.
That's it.
This must be the most breathtaking moment I have ever experienced.
Yes, it is quite a thrill, isn't it? And here comes the printout.
Any minute now.
And perhaps you'd like to give us some clues as to who is starring in this week's episode.
No one knows who they are or where they come from. But come they do, and help they bring.
Well, that sounds like... yes, it's Supercar today, although this week they're more concerned with helping themselves out of a jam. Here's Supercar, take 1.
I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, come on, it's hug time. Come on, Mr. Announcer, and Joe as well. Come on, big Ned Cook Show hug. Oh, that's it.
Supercar!
So, welcome back to Supercar on the Randomiser, indeed the final episode of the first season of the series, although I believe it wasn't shown that way, and as it's the final episode...
Laboratory, having a wonderful rest and eating too many of my sister's marvelous Wiener Schnitzel. Take great care of Supercar, signed Professor Popkiss.
Professor Popkiss is not here.
It's a Wiener Schnitzel, Dr. Beaker.
I think, Jimmy...
I will tell you when you are older.
which is a European dish. Yes, I remember once when I was in Austria.
Now, come on, Dr. Beaker. Let's keep on with this routine.
Presumably that's Aunt Heidi that they're referencing, who later, it turned out, was living quite close by. So I don't know why. I guess they've gone on a family holiday together. I also like that the postcard is... The address on it is just the laboratory.
5,
Black Rock, Nevada. There must only be one.
13,
So, with Popkiss away,
15,000.
Beaker seems to be running the place, as much as he ever can.
Charging 2, 5, 9, 12.
And of course, we are currently so close to getting Supercar on Blu-ray. It's now only about a month or so away. Very exciting. Because it does look gorgeous in HD.
Fire! 2!
Roger, fire 2.
Sounds it as well.
Well, how was that, Mike? I think old Popkiss can enjoy his holiday with the knowledge that the Supercar team will carry on regardless. Right,
With
Mike?
our endless testing of boosters and things. That's it, full boost vertical.
There, Jimmy. All perfectly simple.
Dr. Beaker, you haven't opened the roof doors.
Uh-oh. Oh, lots of, what looks like a corrugated cardboard has just fallen onto the set.
Now who's a fool?
Well, Jimmy, repair costs for that are coming out of your salary. Oh, wait, we don't pay you. Well, it can come out of your college fund.
Doors.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of painting to do on Supercar as well.
Talking of painting, I'm wondering if that shot of the hole in the lab roof was a painting there.
Dr. Beaker, no one was hurt and there's been no serious damage to Supercar. And the whole thing strikes me as kind of funny.
Yeah, Dr. Beaker, wait till...
That's Mike's attitude to everything around here. Everything that goes wrong is either just this weary sort of exhaustion or it's kind of funny. He never really seems to get angry with anyone, which is nice.
Chums, not to mention this little incident to old Popkiss. I just couldn't bear it.
So, that unrelated bit of business aside, we're now on to the story proper.
Mike, it sounds as if he's wrecking the laboratory, and he won't let us in there.
No, Jimmy, I think he's just opening that big crate that arrived this morning. I've been trying to guess what's inside, but it beats me.
All right, gentlemen. You can come in now.
Yes, this is another Beaker Gets a New Hobby episode, and it's one of the stronger ones, because he's got a lot of film equipment.
Gee, Dr. Beaker, a real movie camera.
So this is what all the secrecy's been about.
Yes, Mike. Modern scientists use movie equipment to make permanent records of their experiments for reference purposes, you understand.
I see. So you're going to film all your experiments, is that it?
Precisely. Exactly.
Say, Dr. Beaker, now we've got this equipment, couldn't we make a movie?
Yeah, what did I tell you about talking, Jimmy?
Not. This equipment is to be used for serious scientific work.
But, Dr. Beaker...
No, Jimmy. I said no. And I mean definitely no.
Doodly doodly doodly. Ah, here we go. Mitch is on sound.
Oh, quiet, please.
Indeed, this is the very scene that you may have recently seen on the DVD and Blu-ray comparison videos that we put on the YouTube channel.
Roll 'em.
One, take one.
And I love how quickly Beaker has been sucked into the idea of making a movie about Supercar, to the extent that the people who came up with the idea, namely, well, that little squirt Jimmy,
Action!
and also Mike, are completely exhausted.
9,000.
Wish they'd never bothered.
10,000. 15,000. Fire one.
Cut!
It's nice as well that they left Mitch on the sound recording equipment. He's doing quite a good job there, actually.
But let's just take one more for luck. Going again.
And the hours roll past. Oh my goodness, we're now at 11 o'clock. 9:30 at night.
Roll 'em.
Okay, Dr. Beaker. Scene one, take 104.
Mike still sat at the controls of Supercar with that sane grin on his face. And this is a nice montage here as well of Beaker getting shots of Supercar. Again, in HD, the wires are quite visible on that thing, but I suspect they've always been very visible. And here's a nice piece of library music. I've often heard this piece being used on other ITC shows as like circuses and so forth, so it does create a nice image of this whole movie production thing being a complete shambles, but one that Beaker thinks is a high and worthy endeavour. And a nice just side glance between Jimmy and Mike in the cab there of, oh my goodness, how much longer is this going to go on for? Interesting shot there of Supercar being flown with no pilot. There is no pilot, Master Spy. But of course we know they can control it from the laboratory. I don't know why they are. Now it's underwater filming time.
Satisfactory. Most satisfactory.
I don't know how a standard film camera would work underwater. There seems to be no protection afforded to it there, but...
a lot of filming in. I suggest
Never mind.
we run it and see how it's coming along.
Okay, Dr. Beaker. I'll go and lace up the projector.
I can hardly wait.
Needless to say,
I find this most exciting.
Mitch is helping himself to a huge pile of
Boy,
film.
Dr. Beaker, you'll be filming in Hollywood.
Oh, yes, that's right. And when I do, you're not invited.
And now, folks, you are about to see the latest epic from Supercar Studios in Black Rock, starring the one and only Mike Mercury.
He's still excited after all the hours he's put into this thing.
Lights out.
But,
Very quiet, Jimmy. This is going to be very exciting.
in fact, don't say anything else ever again for as long as you live.
I don't remember you filming that.
Oh,
Curious. Most curious.
footage of a Navy ship at sea.
I don't get it, Dr. Beaker. You were always pointing the camera at us. How come you get ships at sea?
I don't understand, Jimmy. I just don't understand.
Hey, hold on. There's something on the soundtrack.
Here we have the only drawing that we have been able to obtain so far
A
of the
nuclear
latest
unit.
American Marine nuclear power unit. Our agents are continuing their efforts to get further information, and this will be sent to you as soon as it is obtained.
Oh, I just spotted a piece of dust float past.
It's been delivered to us by mistake.
Piece of ancient dust.
And it's obviously film made by foreign agents.
You mean spies?
We'll have to find out who these people are, Beaker. This information is top secret, and if it got into the wrong hands, it could mean disaster for the U.S. Navy.
Oh no. So that's taken a very suddenly serious turn.
Satellite Film Productions, 34 East 25th Street, New York. Why, Dr. Beaker, these are the people who develop and print our film for us.
Of course.
Business they're in.
Yes, Mike.
It came back by mistake.
Filming American top secrets and selling them to foreign governments.
Yeah, but why did they send the film to us?
Oh, it was obviously a mistake, you little twap.
And a very serious one for them.
Gee, Dr. Beaker, it's just like a movie.
Yes, but not one you're going to star in.
Now what's he up to, Mike?
I don't know, Jimmy. Says he's preparing for his trip to New York.
What's the plan, Mike?
Well, Dr. Beaker is going to take the film back to Satellite Films Incorporated and tell him it was delivered to us by mistake.
I get it.
Which it was.
Make out he hasn't looked at the film and doesn't know anything about it.
That's right, Jimmy. In that way, he might find out more about the spy ring that's operating from there.
This is a lovely idea for a story, and one that seems so light-hearted at first, suddenly taking this serious turn.
For the city, Jimmy. And for the occasion.
Yeah, Beaker is now dressed up as a English gentleman. He's got his bowler hat and his umbrella. Very much a prototype John Steed, in fact, before Steed was even dressing like that.
Aren't they, Mike?
Yes, Dr. Beaker?
Right then. Charging both.
Right.
Which is something I don't feel the character gets enough credit for at this point in the series, without Popkiss around for this episode, and I think there was one more episode that he wasn't around for. You do get the feeling of the Woodhouse brothers' conception of the Beaker show, which was what they wanted to make originally. Oh.
What is it, Mitch? Oh, yes, roof doors, of course. Not a word to Mike about this, Mitch.
See, there we go. Mitch is helpful, pointing out the mistake. Obviously, Jimmy didn't have the words to tell him that earlier. I like that actually Beaker and Mitch have a really nice working relationship, and of course, with no Popkiss, we finally have an episode where the whole Supercar team is off on a mission, and Mitch is not stuffed in the trunk. He can actually ride along in the back seat, which is nice for him. Because again, I can't believe there's much room in that trunk. Poor old Mitch. I've always said they should just put Jimmy in there instead.
Dr. Beaker, when we get to New York, I'm going to land on the roof of Satellite Office Block.
Well, Mike, I suppose that's one way of solving the parking problem.
Yeah, but I've got other reasons. I want to be around when you take that film into their office.
And it cuts down on having to create a city set.
Well, I make it, we should be over the city now.
Let's take a look then.
Ooh.
Right again, Doc.
Some very ropey stock footage, possibly upside down.
Folks, here we go.
And a suddenly flopped shot of the Supercar crew. Yeah, that was definitely upside down. How strange. It also looked very ropey compared to the surrounding footage. Anyway, Supercar is now landing on the roof of the Satellite Films building, which I believe is something they used to do a lot. They would just land on top of buildings, and it would always be the same building with this...
First time I've ever been to New York, and landing like this, too.
Oh, I'm sure we could leave you here if you like, Jimmy. Yeah, they would always land in front of the same background photo of New
Or I'll
York.
come and get you.
Oh, don't worry, Mike. I've got everything organized. Now, where's my umbrella?
Umbrella?
But Dr. Beaker, it isn't even raining.
The trouble with you Americans is you're too practical. It's simply a question of being correctly dressed.
While everyone else waits on the roof.
Yes, Herman.
I have just traced the missing reel of film. It has our label on, and I am hoping it will be returned to us.
And if it is not?
Then we will have to take steps to make sure it is.
I understand, Herman.
Satellite films, I believe, madam.
That is correct.
I have a reel of film belonging to you. It was sent by mistake.
How very kind of you to return it, Mr.
Beaker. Dr. Beaker.
And this very sinister sounding secretary also looks quite sinister. I mean, for a Supercar puppet, she looks quite glam.
I wouldn't dream of looking at somebody else's film. When I...
But the voice and the slightly unsettling look of the puppet, she's got a very big head.
Eyes of you, Dr. Beaker.
they kind of work quite well together. Whereas the
Returned by a doctor
her boss, Mr. Herman Grozensky,
that he hasn't seen it.
Good.
is a fairly standard supercar puppet who doesn't look too bad, to be fair.
Selected. I would like to thank Dr. Beaker personally.
Ooh.
I will be with you in a moment. Meanwhile, extend our usual hospitality.
I understand, Mr. Grudensky. Perhaps you would care to take a seat, Dr. Beaker? No, Dr. Beaker. Not that one. Over there. That one is so much more comfortable.
Comfy chair?
Oh, thank you, madam. You are most kind.
But of course, it's a special trick chair.
Are you quite comfortable there, Dr. Beaker?
Oh, quite comfortable.
I am so glad, Dr. Beaker.
Oh, the secretary has a control panel on her desk with buttons 1, 2, and trap.
Doing that.
I also really like that around the walls of her office you can see photos of AP Films crew members. There's Roger Woodburn and Mary Turner, and I think there's one of a couple of puppeteers up on a gantry.
I'm getting worried about Dr. Beaker. He's been gone a long time.
Yeah, I make it 35 minutes. Jimmy, you stay here. I'm going to investigate.
Oh, can't you take Mitch?
With him. I tell you what, though. You can get out a supercar and play around on the roof for a while. But don't fall off.
Yeah, okay. That's, Well, Beaker has now found himself in a cellar
Interesting.
with a load of filing cabinets marked spy.
It's of an international spy ring.
Ooh, how exciting.
Mike, I expect he'll shoot down at any moment.
Oh, I'm going to die.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm looking for a friend of mine, a Dr. Beaker.
Dr. Beaker?
Yeah. Bowler hat, rolled umbrella, all that jazz.
Oh, yes. You say he's a friend of yours?
Yep, that's right.
Oh, yes, sir. He is just talking with Mr. Grudensky. Please sit down and make yourself comfortable. No, please, sir. Not that one. Over there. It is more comfortable.
Gee, thanks a lot.
How many people have they disposed of in this way? And she's chuckling before Mike's even sat down.
One day. This is too wonderful.
I don't get it.
You will.
Mike's head looked like it was about to fall off there.
It estimated that you would be here exactly 7 minutes ago.
And Beaker's very casually leaning against the filing
In a
cabinets.
room, Mike, with no window.
Still with his umbrella and bowler hat.
In fact, Mike, we have fallen into a perfect trap.
So, we have two now. I will deal with them in the usual manner. While I'm doing this, prepare the film to be delivered to
What
us.
is the usual manner, I want to know?
Dr. Beaker,
I know what's about to happen next, but I don't know what would happen to the bodies afterwards.
do you see a valve on the wall of the room you're in?
Yes, I see it.
Then watch closely, Dr. Beaker.
Oh, there's an odd-marked gas.
It's about to be settled, Dr. Beaker.
Mike, gas!
Of all the fiendish things.
I have a little scheme, Mike.
I'm glad to hear it, Doc, because for once I haven't.
You are
You could always block the gas nozzle.
wear bowler hats.
You know,
Beaker,
put your finger over the nozzle or something. It's not that big.
Beaker to Supercar. Over.
Hello, Dr. Beaker. This is Jimmy. I can hear you, but it sounds like, well, I don't know. It sounds like you're talking through your hat.
Yes, actually, Jimmy,
Shut up, you little twerp. I wouldn't call you for help unless it was absolutely vital.
go to the emergency channel and call the police. Tell them to come straight away to this building.
Okay, Dr. Beaker, I'll do that.
Once I've rescued Mitch...
Just do as I say, Jimmy. We are in a little bit of a hurry.
You can say that again, Doc. I don't know about you, but this gas is beginning to get me.
Put your finger over the nozzle. It's not that big.
That I doubt, Mike. Now, where did I put my umbrella?
Oh, no.
time like this, he's worried about his umbrella.
Mr. Grudensky is just not listening to any of this at this point.
Valuable piece of equipment.
He gasses people and then presumably has to dispose of the bodies, which is quite dark for a Supercar episode.
But this, my dear fellow, is a very special umbrella.
Ooh.
Watch.
Yay.
Good for you, Doc. Satisfactory. Most satisfactory.
Yep, he's drilling through the lock with his umbrella. It's a very well-produced pose from the puppet there as he's pressing the drill against the lock. And again, it's a very sort of John Steed kind of thing before that was even a thing, of having weapons and concealed gadgets in his umbrella.
Now, I have one or two things to attend to, and then we will leave and deliver our secret film to the foreign government.
Which pays us the most money?
And in a
Generic foreigners pay the best money.
we'll have done its job on our meddling friends. Dr. Beaker and Mike Mercury will be no more.
Hurry, Doc. We can't last out much longer.
All right, Mike. We are nearly through.
It's the world's slowest working gas, but again, that nozzle could just be covered.
It's going to present a serious problem.
Oh.
A mink coat? Oh, no, 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 no. Everyone has mink coats these days.
And who should arrive in the office now? Here he is. The backup crew. I love Mitch. I know I probably shouldn't, but I especially love Mitch when he is in an uncontrollable rage.
Go away. I am so frightened. Herman, come back quickly. It's an escaped gorilla.
And Mitch has maneuvered her onto the trick chair.
Never mind that. One thing for sure, you won't. Not where you're going.
Yeah, and furthermore, if you want our friend to calm down, please don't refer to him as a gorilla. He is a chimpanzee, madam. And a very...
Mitch is shaking his fists in barely controlled frustration.
Found out.
Okay.
I also like that Mike and Beaker look quite sweaty here from their ordeal.
Not here. He will be back soon.
Okay, then we'll wait for him.
Aha. We'll wait for the criminal mastermind.
I always make it a practice, Mr. Mercury, not to keep people waiting. However, this time it is unavoidable. In a little while, our agent will be arriving, and then you will be coming with us.
It'd be a nice twist if Popkiss was the agent, giving him a reason for not being in the story, other than George Marcel being busy with other work.
If only the police would arrive.
Or you could do something,
I must go down and show them the way.
because the police can't do anything without me.
Beacon, I can hear their sirens now.
It's a pity you did that, Mike Mercury, because you have signed your own death warrant.
You see, Mike Mercury, we have a secret exit from the building.
Yeah, now they're both on the trapdoor. But Mitch, in his infinite wisdom,
I would have liked to have shown it to you.
has spotted the controls.
Goodbye, my friends.
Oh, good show, Mitch.
Although interestingly, the prop that Mitch jumped on had buttons 1, 2, and 3 rather than 1, 2, and trap.
Beaker,
Yes, Jimmy, we're okay.
But he sent them down to the gas-filled basement.
stay here, Mike. They're on their way up now.
Good boy, Jimmy. They're just in time to take our two friends away.
Assuming they haven't escaped through the door that we removed the lock of. So, back home. And as this is the final episode of the first series, maybe they felt there probably weren't going to be any more, so there's a couple of bits of rather indulgent stock footage in this episode, but I kind of accept it. It's quite sweet. Anyway, we're now here to watch
To see the film we've made, Dr. Beaker.
the film of the Supercar team.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell you all about Supercar.
It's also upside down.
Now who's a fool?
And on that note, we end Supercar Take 1, which has always been one of my favourite episodes of the show. I think it's a favourite for a lot of people, really. If this was the note on which the series was to end on forever, then it's a pretty strong one to go out on. Again, it's the show dealing with fairly big ideas of this international spy ring, but the way... Oh, story by Jerry and Sylvia Anderson. Was this one they wrote, or is that one they've... just taking the credit on? Anyway, yeah, a fairly big idea realised within the fairly narrow confines of the show's format, but it always works very well. Any episode focusing on Beaker and his latest hobby is always enjoyable. It's nice to see the show sort of focusing on its own, on itself at the end, its own glories, its own success, and if this was to be the end, it was a jolly good last romp.